We have to follow that up somehow. Wayne, you're running the Pro Series, expanding that 600 Pro Series this year. Why should Joe race fan come and watch the 600 Pro Series? Anywhere, doesn't matter where.
Well, it's just not the Pro Series. I mean, most of the 600 races. If you want to see really, really consistent good racing, go to a quarter-mile track. And I don't care what the size of the car is. You're going to see some good racing. I mean, you know, I grew up at Williams Grove and Port Royal. I mean, you know, we're in sprint car country.
Two of the biggest tracks we've got in this area, great facilities.
Well, they are, but the racing is, I mean, honestly, it's boring. I mean, it really is. I haven't seen a good sprint car race for a long time. You know, some of the best racing I've ever seen in my life has been in the 600 class. And it doesn't matter. There's just so many quality guys that could walk into a sprint car tomorrow and dominate. But there's just not that many rides. There's no rides for those guys. So their option is the 600. That's their option. You know, at a Pro Series race, we average about 40 cars. We have averaged. And in that feature, when that feature goes off, there's probably, I don't know how many feature wins between 24 starters or 26 that we start. Just hundreds and hundreds. And the guy that starts 24th has as good a chance of winning that race as the guy that starts on the pole. He really does. I mean, the level of talent that show up at those races is it's just amazing. I mean, it's sort of some guys don't show up because of that. You know, quite honestly. I mean, the competition scares some guys away. But there's those of us that feed on it, that we want to beat Mike every week, you know, or Tim, or, you know, and when we're out in Arkansas at I-30 Speedway, I'm standing beside Swindell. He's racing the 600. Sammy Swindell's running the 600, you know, and Brady Bacon, and just all these guys, you know, that show up at these races. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
You know, the funny thing about the 600 class around here is you can't really name one guy or two guys or even five guys that are dominant. There aren't any. I mean, the class is that equal that there's no way you can go out and win more than a handful of races a year.
My driver had 6 wins last year, and I'll tell you, and we were shooting for 4. You know, so we ended up with 2 more.
4 would have been an excellent.
We would have been happy with 4.
And how many races did you win? Did you race? You were 70 races.
70 races, 6 wins.
Also to that too, I mean, to Wayne's point, it's funny, and I mean, I guess that sometimes when you're a driver, you look at things from the competitive side of it, and you're sitting in your car, and you know, you got into the feature, and you're sitting there, and you're starting like 14th or 15th at either a Pro Series race or a Speed Week race, and you're looking in front of you, and it's like, my goodness, how am I ever going to get there, you know? And it's not that obviously your competitive nature comes out, and you know everybody wants to win, but there's times where you look at it and it's like, I got my work cut out for me, you know, more often than not, that is the case, you know, and you get to start in a pole and it's a treat sometimes, you know, and it really, it's so ultra competitive, and there's you get a feature at a Pro Series race or at a Speed Week race, and there's 26 cars, and all 26 of those guys are multiple feature winners and could win that night. And there's how many good guys, you know, there's nights where Mike might not qualify or Ryan Greth might not qualify, and it's like, look at the level of competition that didn't qualify for the race.
Very true. And Mike, Tim is waiting patiently to talk about legend cars, why they're so exciting. But Mike, I've always had the utmost respect for you, your passion for this sport, and micro 600 sprint car racing, 270 sprint car racing, and you're an excellent spokesman. Tell the fans why they need to come and get involved and why we've got so many good drivers, why they need to come and watch these drivers and make them into heroes.
I think we need to hear from some of the fans out there and hear why you don't show up. It really is the best racing around, and if you like to see guys crossing each other up and giving it their all, their blood, sweat, and tears to go out there and put on a show, you know, come out and let us prove that's what we can do. Somebody's got to have a question out there for us. Come on. Are you awake?
No, we are running out of topics. That's why I kind of get...
And before we do run out of time, we need to give Wayne a chance to talk about his Pro Series, the changes that he made to the deal this year, and how the format's going to work this season, in case anybody out there doesn't know that yet.
I'm one of them.
and we will definitely do that. But Tim, I don't want to overlook you. You know, we're talking about trying to increase fan appeal for the various divisions, the 600 sprints, the 600 modifieds. How about the legends? What do you guys need to do?
Well, I think promoting is a big thing, and I think under our new direction with Scott Gobrek and Ed Trump this year taking over for Central PA Legends, I believe that's going to be a big impact on helping our series. And you know what, like Mike said and these guys said about the competition, you know, we got the Lepos in our series, we got the Gladfelders in our series, we got Gobrek in our series. You know, we had Rochelle race against us. Myself, it's my 13th year running Legends. I mean, I think the level of competition is so fair and equal, and there's a lot of good competition. And you know, I think if the promoting can take off the way it's been taken off this year, I think maybe the series can grow a little better, and it would be nice to have some deals like, you know, I hate to use the term, but we had the small car nationals. It would be neat to get a deal with, you know, running with the 600 sprints, the Legends, you know, even the 270 sprints, you know, getting the cars where, you know, we're not running against it on tracks where the big tires are rutting it up, and we can all have a good racetrack, because that's another big thing too, is the preparation for all of us that are able to put on a good show in all of our series, and that's going to make the sport grow better. I mean, a good showing is gonna make people say, you know what, I'm gonna stay next time, I'm gonna watch that division, or you know what, they're there, I'm gonna go watch them. But you know, some of these tracks, even when we get to them, you know, by the time we get to the track surface, it's tore up, we can't put on a show, and I think that affects a lot of our divisions, always running after the big cars, and even that, if they would, you know, maybe rotate and get the visiting division in, get the fans to see it. That's another issue that we all have sitting up on the stages. We're always run last. You know, everybody watches modifieds, everybody watches the sprint cars. They grab their coolers and they leave. And you know, a lot of times the kids, like my kid, my boy's 4 years old, and he absolutely loves the 600 sprints. He loves the Legends, and he really has no interest in the big cars. He, you know, walking through here tonight, he was saying to me, "Dad, is that a kid's car or a grown-up?" And it's both, buddy. You know, anybody can drive these cars, and that's what we really need to promote and get in our series.
Excellent point. Mr. Feltenberger, is there something you wanted to add? I'm not forgetting you, Wayne. We're coming. We're going to get there.
What, in recognizing cars and classes and what we want to bring in? Well, to put it very simply, I think a lot of it has to do with the way the car looks. We can go from Minnesota to Florida, and everybody knows who Shannon Smith is. For one reason, she has the car that stands out the most with the hot pink car. And she got so many fans down in Atlantic City that she was posing with. She almost didn't have time to get the car back to the garage area to get her prepared for the racetrack. So I think a lot of it has to how they present themselves. You know, if you're gonna, you know, sit back and don't care about being fan friendly, just going in a race car and for the sake of racing, you're not gonna be at the top of a lot of people's fans list. Same way up at Kutztown, there's a lot of slingshot guys up at Kutztown that the fans, when the race is over, they'll go over and talk to them, and they're nice enough. They'll sign autographs, they'll pose for pictures, and that's basically what it is. You know, the driver giving back to the fans, because without the fans, you wouldn't have a racetrack or a race. So I think a lot has to do with the driver's attitude and how they present themselves.
It's really good. That's something that had not been brought up until now, but an excellent point. It's both ways. You know, we've talked about promotion of racetracks, but the drivers and the teams overall play a part in that too.